Hi folks, just wanted to talk to you today about finding percentage using a multiplier. Now, when you think about finding percentages, a question might go, find 21% of £30. And I want to break that into words that you would say. So 21 percent of 30. And think about the mathematical meaning of a lot of these words. So obviously we've got 21 and 30. But this per means divide, always. Of means times, always. And cent, I think you're used to seeing as the word 100. Now, when you find 21% of 100, you can do 21 divided by 100, sorry, 21% of 30, you do 21 divided by 100 times 30. Now, one thing we can do in our head, to speed things up a bit, is we can do this bit. 21 divided by 100 is 0.21. Because I moved the decimal point from here, 2 places to represent the 2 zeros. So 0.21 times 30, if I reach for my calculator, 0.21 times 30 gives me 6.3. So the answer is £6.30. Now, you can use this to find a percentage increase as well. So if I said increase £16 by 17%, I'd like you to think about increase by 17% and what that means. If we increase by 17%, we had the original full amount, which was 100%. If I'm going to increase that by 17%, I would now have 117%. So that's the same question as saying find 117% of 16. That's what this question is the same as saying. Now 117%, the percent means divide by 100. 117 divided by 100 is 1.17. Move the decimal point 2 places because there's 2 zeros in 100. Of means times 16. So a quick way of doing this question is 1.16 times 16. And for that I get 18.72. So my answer is £18.72. Similarly, if I said decrease £14 by 13%. Now if I start off with 100% and I take off 13%, because I want to decrease by 13%, 100% take away 13% would give me 87%. So the question becomes, find 87% of £14. And you have to realise, again, 87%. Percent means divide by 100. Move the decimal point in from here 2 places because there's 2 zeros in 100. So I get 0.87 of means times 14. And so we have 0.87 times 14, which gives me an answer of £12.18. Now this is useful when we do something called compound interest. So imagine if you're at the bank, you put some money in, and the bank agrees to pay you 5% per year. So that means in interest, your money will go up by 5% per year. So say you put in £100, it needs to go up by 5% for the first year. So this is year 1. I'm going to add 5% on. So 5% PA, you'll often see that means per annum for every year. For year 2, to add 5% on, I'm going to find 105%. That means I'm going to times by 1.05. So times by 1.05, which would give me £105, which is what you would have at the start of year 2. And then, because I started year 2 with £105, I then need to find what it would be times 1.05 again for the end of year 3. So 105 times 1.05, that would be £110, and that's what you'd have at the start of year 3. And then we would do £110, 25 times 1.05, would be the start of year 4, etc. And that's quite nice, easy questions to do like that. But one thing that you can do is you might get asked how much after 7 years. So you would start off with £100, and I'm going to times it by 1.05 for the first year, and then 1.05 for the second year, and then I'm going to times by 1.05 again, the answer to that for the third year, and get the answer to that times by 1.05. So over the 7 years, I'm going to end up multiplying by 1.05 7 times. So times by 1.05 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 times by 1.05. That's a proper mouthful. So in maths, to get that idea of multiplying lots and lots of times, we use powers. So this means I'm going to times by 1.05 7 times, so to the power of 7. And let's see what that comes up with. So we've got 100 times 1.05 to the power of 7, and that will give me £140.71. Okay, and that's the idea of compound interest. Now there is an alternative where you might have simple interest, generally that's not so good, because generally what they say, so 5% of £100 is £5, so that you are going to add on that 7 times. So 5% of 100 is £5 for 7 years. So the same question here means that you get £35 in interest. So end up with £135. So you can see this compound interest is better off, because even with only investing £100 at the beginning, you've still made £5 more from the compound interest, with the interest being made by what you have in at the beginning of the year, each year progressing, rather than just adding on what you had at the beginning. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit of an intro to you. This idea of multiplying, I use that when I'm doing percentage questions all the time. That's what I would use. I wouldn't bother saying what's 1%, what's 10%, what's 5%. I just go straight in, 21% of, so divide by 100 and then times, and each time divide by 100 and times. And now get so I can do that divide by 100 in my head. So 87% is 0.87. Here 117%, 1.17. It's a nice easy thing to do, to then allow you to get involved in much more complicated questions. And remember, if you're multiplying repeatedly, you can use a power, and that's going to be useful in some of the questions I'm going to set. Okay, right, I hope that's been really helpful, and if you've any questions, then please let me know. Thank you.